Gopijana balavān girivaradhari Gopijana balavān girivaradhari Jasodanandana brajajana ranjana Jasodanandana brajajana ranjana Jamuna tiravanachari Jamuna tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Vihari Gopijana balavān girivaradhari Gopijana balavān girivaradhari Jasodanandana brajajana ranjana Jasodanandana brajajana ranjana Jamuna tiravanachari Jamuna tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Vihari Gopijana balavān girivaradhari Gopijana balavān girivaradhari Jasodanandana brajajana ranjana Jasodanandana brajajana ranjana Jamuna tiravanachari Jamuna tiravanachari avanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari. Gopi Jana Balavān Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Balavān Girivaradhari. Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Jamunatiravanachari. Jamunatira avanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjam Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnu Padvanamaham Zapati Vajakacharya Ashtatarasadrishi Srimad. His divine grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bhatita Pavana Savior of the fallen souls Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada flooding the whole material world with a tidal wave of super ecstatic Krishna Prema Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnu Padvanamaham Zapati Vajakacharya Ashtatarasadrishi Srimad. His divine grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Nāmacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premsaka Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mayi Ki Jai. Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tasya Devi Ki Jai. Samavekta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaura Premananda. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His divine grace. Srila Prabhupada, Namam Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Svaminiti Namane, Namaste Sarasvate Devi, Gauravani Pacharine, Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pashtadesha Tarine. So, today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 10, text number 24. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hastau ruruhatus tasya. nānā-karma-cikīrṣayā. tayoḥ balavān Indra. ādānam ubhaya-āśrayam. hastau ruruhatus tasya. nānā-karma-cikīrṣayā. tayoḥ balavān Indra. ādānam ubhaya-āśrayam. hastau ruruhatus tasya. nānā-karma-cikīrṣayā. tayoḥ balavān Indra. ādānam ubhaya-āśrayam. nānā-karma-cikīrṣayā. tayoḥ balavān Indra. ādānam ubhaya-āśrayam. Hṛṣīkeśa tayoḥ balavān Indra ādānam ubhaya-āśrayam ruruhatus tasya nānā-karma-cikīrṣayā tayoḥ balavān Indra ādānam ubhaya-āśrayam ruruhatus tasya nānā-karma-cikīrṣayā tayoḥ balavān Indra ādānam ubhaya-āśrayam hastau ruruhatus tasya nānā-karma-cikīrṣayā tayoḥ balavān Indra ādānam ubhaya-āśrayam hastau ruruhatus tasya nānā-karma-cikīrṣayā tayoḥ balavān Indra ādānam ubhaya-āśrayam hastau ruruhatus tasya nānā-karma-cikīrṣayā tayoḥ balavān Indra ādānam ubhaya-āśrayam hastau, the hands, ruruhatus, ruruhatuḥ, manifested, tasya, his, nānā, various, karma, work, cikīrṣayā, being so desirous, tayoḥ, of them, to, however, balavān, to give strength, Indra, the demigod in heaven, ādānam, activities of the hand, ubhaya-āśrayam, dependent on both the demigod and the hand. Translation and purport. By His divine grace, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivajakacarya Astatarisadashi Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Dandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. Thereafter, when the Supreme Person desired to perform varieties of work, the two hands and their controlling strength, and Indra, the demigod of heaven, became manifested, as also the acts dependent on both the hands and the demigod. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In every item we can note with profit that the sense organs of a living entity are never independent at any stage. Can you all hear me clearly? Is the fans drowning it out? Can you hear me clearly? It's okay? All right. In every item we can note with profit that the sense organs of a living entity are never independent at any stage. The Lord is known as the Lord of the senses, Hṛṣīkeśa. Thus the sense organs of the living entities are manifested by the will of the Lord. And every organ is controlled by a certain type of demigod. No one, therefore, can claim any proprietorship of the senses. The living entity is controlled by the senses are controlled by the demigods, and the demigods are servants of the Supreme Lord. That is the arrangement of the system of creation. The whole thing is controlled ultimately by the Supreme Lord, and there is no independence either of the material nature or of the living entity. The illusion living entity who claims to be the Lord of his senses is under the clutches of the external energy of the Lord. As long as a living entity continues to be puffed up by his tiny existence, he is to be understood to be under the stringent control of the external energy of the Lord, and there is no question of liberation from the clutches of illusion, māyā, however much one may declare himself as a liberated soul. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatam Balakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam So, we are very much blessed by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, that He has taken the time and trouble to bless us with the Srimad Bhagavatam. This was His first attempt. He came to America bearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. That original edition is very, very rare and wonderful thing. Very, very wonderful thing, the original Bhagavatam, but he expanded it with the BBT and gave so many volumes of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now the Bhagavan sets are there. So we take advantage of this conversation which took place 5,000 years ago. When Shukadeva Goswami is enlightening Parikshit Maharaj, if we take this deep, deep, deep within our hearts, don't let the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam go one ear and out the other ear. Take them both ears deep, 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 deep within the heart. At this present moment, our hearts are very contaminated, very, very dirty and contaminated with lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. But by taking this Hare Krishna mantra and the Srimad Bhagavatam deep, deep, deep within the heart, you can uproot all these weeds that are choking the bhakti lata, the bhakti lata, the creeper devotional service. So this creeper can grow and grow and grow and grow and penetrate all the callings of the material universe and go travel all the way through the spiritual sky and go to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna and take shelter there, the most divine and sublime lotus feet. So this is the advantage. If we hear Srimad Bhagavatam with attention, with love, then we can actually penetrate the coverings of this material universe. Do you imagine the power of any words like this anywhere in the material world? There are no such words. Just by vibrating and hearing these words, we can penetrate the coverings. As Prabhupada told me, and he said, all material desire is zero. He said, now you become qualified to see Krishna face to face. A direct order from Srila Prabhupada to Sankarsan Das. So this hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam can actually drive away all these material desires. Desire must be there, because desire is the concomitant factor of the living entity. He must have desire, you see. Now the Mayavadis, they make this mistake. They say, I will become desireless, you see. There's two types of living beings, kamis and akamis. Kami means desire and akami means desireless. Actually, kami means full of spiritual desire. You see. Akami means full of material desire. So the Mayavadis, they say, I will become desireless. I desire desirelessness. But what is that? What is that? That's another material desire. The foolish Mayavadis don't realize that desiring desirelessness is another material desire because they want to become one with the Supreme. They want to become God. You see. But the Vaishnavas, they're on the proper path, you see. They understand that my only desire would be to please my beloved spiritual master and believe my beloved Lord Sri Sri Radha and Krishna with my every thought, word, and deed in all times, places, and circumstances. This desire liberates one from all material desires. When they say, well, I'm now burning in the fire of desire, how can I be liberated from this fire of desire? Desirelessness won't liberate you, but transcendental desires will liberate you. It's called the higher taste. When you actually get a taste for desiring pure love of God to awaken within your heart, you can forget all these damn rascal material desires, the lust, the anger, the greed, the madness, delusion, envy. You can kick it out with boot. Get out of my heart, you rascal desires. Flush you down the toilet. I'm getting rid of you, you see. These stupid nonsense desires have kept me entangled here in this cycle of birth and death for millions and billions and trillions of lifetimes. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. You see. I want to come back to my liberated position. Jivarasa ruruhatus Krishnera nichadas, you see. I'm actually the eternal servant of Krishna. Don't let this rotting old man's body fool you, thinking this Sankarsan Das is a 76-year-old man. You see. No, actually I'm an eternal youth. I'm one of Krishna's associates in his transcendental pastimes. All of us, you see. We're all Krishna's associates. So it's time to know who you are and be who you are. We must stop cheating ourselves by foolish misidentification with this ridiculous position of birth, death, old age, and disease. There's so many nice points in the purport today. I really like this one thing about the importance of the hand. The hand is pretty important, isn't it? What do we put in our bead bags? The hand. You see. So just see how important the hand is. I got to hand it to you. The hand is pretty important. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. I thought I'd reveal to you a little insider secret. Now this is not a hard and fast rule. It's a little insider secret of how you can get a certain taste in your japa. This was told to me by His Holiness Vishnu Dhanaswami, by Martin Prajarka Guru. He got a lot of association with Prabhupada. And one day he noticed when Prabhupada was chanting his japa, he would go, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. He would rotate on Krishna and hold it still on Ram. Now that's not a rule, but it's something Prabhupada did at least once. Something you can get a little special taste in chanting your japa. Try that when you're chanting your japa, and remember, this is a leela of Prabhupada. One of his transcendental leelas is to attract us to Krishna, rotating on Krishna and holding it still on Ram. There's so many amazing pastimes of Prabhupada. I was one of those rank and file devotees. I wasn't a big sannyasi or GBC or temple president or a big book distributor. I was just a rank and file devotee cleaning the pots in the kitchen, you see. But I can tell you, I get a little bit of association here and there with Prabhupada, and that association is very, very, very dear to me. I relish those moments very, very greatly within my heart. I'll show you one pastime I had with Prabhupada in Los Angeles, California, USA. In those days, it was the world headquarters. BBT was there. ISKCON Los Angeles was it. New Dwarka, the big thing, you see. So anyway, we just gone to the Ratha Yatra. We were all up there in San Francisco and Golden Gate Park. 300 devotees and 3,000 hippies enjoying like anything the Ratha Yatra festival. And now the devotees, we all went down to Los Angeles to be with Prabhupada there. And there was a very special thing, Prabhupada, there's actually a picture of it. I found it on the internet. When Prabhupada would come back from the morning walks, the famous morning walks, right? The car would pull up to the curb. Were you there? The car would pull up to the curb, and he would walk down the sidewalk on the way to his quarters. And it was a very special thing in those days. Every devotee would line up along the sidewalk. We'd all have a flower in our hand, and Prabhupada had a whole basket of flowers. And he would come down the line one by one by one. The first person in the queue was Vishnu Janaswami, and wow, he got a hug. I felt like I was getting hugged too, because one of his men. Oh wow, Vishnu Jana's getting hugged. Oh wow. And then Prabhupada came down. I was about the second or third in the line. And Prabhupada now hands me a flower, and I'm having Prabhupada my flower. You have to have your own one-on-one, just you and Prabhupada. The whole universe is out there, but now you're having your one-on-one with Prabhupada, you see. Wow, ecstatic thing. So now I had a flower in my hand from Prabhupada. Oh, Prabhupada gave me this flower, wow. So now Prabhupada's going down the line, and I was thinking, I'd like to have another darshan of my beloved Guru Maharaj. Now I called it like this. When you actually were there with Prabhupada, you actually see him, I call it drinking Prabhupada into your heart through your eyes. You see? Drinking Prabhupada into your heart through your eyes, you see. So I went to get another drink, another deep drink of Prabhupada's darshan into my heart, you see. So he's coming by the building, there were some steps going into the building. So Sankarsan Das, I was actually Bhakta Steve in those days, but I stationed myself on the steps, so as he came by, I can never look at him as he came by on the way to the quarters. And Prabhupada looked up at me. I was not in the flower queue. I was not standing on the steps looking at him. He looked up at me like wondering, did he get a flower now yet? Prabhupada looked at me. So he held up a flower, like, did you get one yet? And I held up my flower and said, yes, I showed Prabhupada the flower, you know. So I wasn't even initiated, you see, but Prabhupada took that special care, you see. It's amazing. When Prabhupada write the letters, my dear so-and-so, I mean, it wasn't just some words, he actually felt it. Every single disciple was very, very dear to Srila Prabhupada. And another amazing thing that happened to me was, after I got initiated, this was back in '71 in August, and then what do you do when you get initiated? You give your dakshina, right? Well, Prabhupada is in London, and I'm in Austin, Texas. So you mail collected 3 checks at the ceremony, and I mailed it off to London. And Prabhupada, just like a pucka accountant, he reported, I've gotten 3 checks later, this amount, this amount, this amount, the exact amount of each check, to make sure the pucka accountant, right? And then, the most wonderful thing, he gave the most wonderful instruction. He said, I told him, Prabhupada, I want to spread this movement. And he wrote me the most wonderful instruction. It sits forever in my heart. He said, I can see you're a very sincere and enthusiastic boy, eager to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. Now continue enthusiastically as you're doing, and surely Krishna will bless you. Now I ask you, devotees here in Mayapur, is that instruction any less potent today than it was 50 years ago? Or it has the same potency, even more potency, you see. Actually, that instruction is just as potent as it was 50 years ago when I got that and opened up the letter, opened up that aerogram from Prabhupada and read it. It's just as potent now, even more potent now, you see. So we have this enthusiasm to spread this movement, you see, to spread the holy names, to spread these books, to spread the beauty of Radha and Krishna everywhere. Then you know what happens? Krishna blesses us more and more and more and more, you see. And then an even more amazing thing happened. You know, Prabhupada would write that, he would dictate the letter, the typist would type it out, and then Prabhupada would sign A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami with a pen. Because Prabhupada actually signed it. Wow, there in the blue ink. You get to see Prabhupada's signature there. And then the most amazing thing happened. With his own pen, as if he was signing a letter, he wrote a P.S. in ink. And he said, P.S., we're going to Nairobi on Friday night. Now, you see, the official thing from Guru to disciple, but now the son, the family member, you see. So I understood Prabhupada not only accepted me as his disciple, now he's accepted me as the intimate son with whom he shares the details of his trip itinerary, you see. So that was very, very special. Prabhupada really, really captured my heart, you see. He really captured my heart. That's one of the loving dealings of his divine grace. Make him ever, 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 ever dear to me, ever increasingly dear to me. And there's so many other wonderful things that where Prabhupada just showed his amazing qualities. He was very strong and very heavy and very firm, but he also had that very soft, sweet side and also an amazing sense of humor sometimes too. Prabhupada's sense of humor was really amazing. Like in one lecture he was saying, during World War II, Churchill told all the Britishers, go to church and beg to God for victory. And Prabhupada said in Germany they were also praying to victory. So the British are praying for victory, the Germans are praying for victory, and then Prabhupada said, God is perplexed. Of course we know he's not really perplexed, but Prabhupada's sense of humor, you see. Amazing sense of humor. Another sense of humor experience I had was in '72. There's the Vyas Puja and Janmashtami. It was so ecstatic. We were there in New Vrindavan, we're out in the beautiful countryside, no air pollution, just devotees everywhere, in the forests everywhere. The devotees came from all over North America. Very, very, very sublime atmosphere. And now the whole day is going out. In India, y'all are used to fasting, right? It's part of your Indian culture. But in America, fasting? My God, fasting? Fasting till midnight? You got to be kidding. Fasting till midnight? Oh my God, how can we make it, you know? So every hour goes by, getting closer to the feast, closer to the feast, closer to the feast. And now midnight, the arti, and wow, after the arti, we're going to take prasadam. And then Prabhupada said, now we'll read Krishna book. One chapter, chapter 2, chapter 3. Oh my God. And then Prabhupada said, I think you're getting impatient. I call that the understatement of the century. So these little things, you know. And then after that, we had something called the rock opera in those days. We had Radha Damodar, the deities of our rock opera. And actually, Prabhupada named those deities. The devotees, they were traveling with Radha Damodar. Actually, they were called Radha and Krishna in a school bus, a very bouncy school bus. So they wouldn't fall over, devotees tied them with rope. And Prabhupada heard they were trying Radha and Krishna with ropes. He said, you can name that naughty boy, Damodar. Prabhupada, actually, you can see he's a naughty boy. You see. He has to be tied up. Just see Prabhupada's vision, you see. Amazing, amazing vision. And then we did our rock opera in a place called the Syria Mosque. It's a big auditorium in Pittsburgh, one of these professional auditoriums, you know, with all the seats and the stage and the lighting. Paka auditorium, you see. So, all the devotees came from all over the place, and they gave Prabhupada a special seat in the center aisle, a very nice Vyasathan in the center aisle, so you got a perfect view of the whole rock opera. Now, in those days, devotees didn't applaud, you know. Applauding is something karmis do. You know, we don't applaud, you know. Only karmis applaud, you know. But after every song, only one person in the audience applauded. That was Prabhupada. And then, so it was the story of some hippie who became a devotee. His name was Ringer, and he became a devotee. And we were all dressed up like hippies with long hair, wigs, pretending like we were smoking marijuana, you know, it was a whole thing. The hippie culture on stage as actors. And Prabhupada looked at us, he told the one devotee, he says, are those all our men up there? And then he said, the hippies are doing their business. So there's so many light sides of Prabhupada. Very charming qualities of Prabhupada. And just like Krishna Lila is there, so many amazing pastimes. There's so many amazing pastimes of Srila Prabhupada also that make him very, very dear to us. And also, his disciples also were part of those pastimes. It wasn't just Prabhupada alone, just like it's not Krishna alone. There's Radharani, there's Yasoda. So many devotees are there as part of Prabhupada's Lila. So the same thing with Prabhupada's Lila. His devotees are also part of his pastimes, you see. I'll give you an example. This was 75 in Atlanta. And they had just big garnet IDs. I remember Prabhupada, it was a very nice thing. The devotees, the Mahadis on one side, the devotees and the Prabhus on the other side. It was with a big center aisle. And Prabhupada we kept that center aisle completely clear. Nobody could go in the center aisle. So Prabhupada had an unobstructed darshan of the altar. And he looked down the altar and he said, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda have appeared in Atlanta. So we see deities standing there. Prabhupada actually saw Gaura Nitai standing there, you see. So anyway, since I wasn't a big, just one of those rank and file brahmacharis, you know, I took every chance I could to get close to Prabhupada. So I just got on the right side of the Vyasasana, standing right there where I could practically reach out and touch Prabhupada. I got that close because I wanted to get as much mercy as I possibly could, being in his physical presence. The physical presence also is very nice, but even more, that's called Vapu. But Vapu is here sometimes and gone sometimes. Prabhupada told us that in Atlanta. That lecture. He gave a wonderful lecture there. He said that Vapu is not always here, but Vani is always here. But when I had a chance for a Vapu, I would get it, you see. So anyway, I'm just there at Prabhupada's light side, a few feet away. I could reach out and touch him. But I looked across Prabhupada's lap, and there was his personal servant who was with Prabhupada constantly, Hṛṣīkeśa Prabhu. He was always with Prabhupada, you see, at every minute, 24/7. I wasn't feeling envious of him, but I just looked across Prabhupada's lap, and Hṛṣīkeśa made the most loving, beautiful smile you could ever imagine. And I understood that he's like a mirror. He was Prabhupada's mercy was bouncing off him and showering upon me. So that's, instead of being envious, he gets Prabhupada's association, I don't know, I took advantage of his closeness to Prabhupada and got Prabhupada's mercy through him, you see. So these are just some of the little tidbits I very much remember that give me great encouragement to go deep, deep into these purports. There's interesting points here. Prabhupada says, no, there's no independence of the living entity. This is the same thing that this rascal Stephen Hawking says. He's dead and gone now, but his philosophy is still going. Stephen Hawking, big so-called learned scientist, rascal. But he also says, since every living entity is totally under the control of physical laws, he's not responsible for anything he does. The bank robber should not be put in jail because he was under the physical laws by robbing the bank. This raises a question then. Since there's no independence of a living entity, then why should he be punished for anything he does? He's just a puppet dancing in the hands of Maya, so why should he be punished? Well, this punishment is also under the hands of Maya, under the material energy. But here's another point. Why is he responsible ultimately for all the things he does when he's under the control of the material energy? Well, it's just like this. Just like some person, some foolish person decides to join the terrorists. I want to become a terrorist. That's his free choice. He decides to join the terrorists. But under the terrorists, he's told, do this, blow up this building, murder these people. He's totally controlled by the head terrorist. He has to do whatever he says because he's one of their group. But because he chose to actually be a terrorist, that was his free will. Now he's totally responsible for everything he does when he's in the control of a terrorist organization. So in this way, even though we're dancing dogs in the hands of Maya, everything we do under the control of Maya, we're responsible for everything we do because we made the choice to be to give up the Lord's service and to act independently of the Lord. This is our great foolishness, my dear devotees, that where we were serving Krishna in his transcendental pastimes in the spiritual sky, having sweet, 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 intimate, loving relationships with that Supreme Person, but we thought, what would it be like if I was God? You see? What is that saying? In America we say, curiosity killed the cat. What would it be like if I was the Supreme? So Krishna is very kind. He lets us, oh, you want to be the Supreme? Okay, you can be the Supreme. He gives us a chance. He gives us our own universe. We get to be a Lord Brahma, be the Lord of a whole universe, and see how we like it. But actually, we're not very satisfying having our own universe, being the Brahma. I think maybe it's better to be Indra, you see. Or maybe we try being Indra for a while, we're not happy there. We try being this. Try being so many things, and finally we go down to being Indra Gopa Germ. We're not happy there either, you see. Just like that old song, the big popular song in the old days, I can't get no satisfaction. I'm doing this, I'm trying this, but I can't get no satisfaction. That's our position. We try so many things. Try being a male, a female, an elephant, a dog eater, a cactus plant, a banana tree. We try so many things to be satisfied. In each and every case, no satisfaction. No satisfaction. But going through these 8,400,000 types of ways to try to be satisfied, we're still never, ever satisfied. But finally, my dear devotees, we get this chance, we come to what's called the human form. And the Vedas say, tato brahma jigyasa. Now you got a human form, utilize it for self-realization. Now how many people actually take advantage of that? Practically nobody. Isn't it pathetic? Isn't it sad that out of these millions and billions of living entities in the human form, hardly nobody is taking advantage of it? This is the mercy of the Krishna consciousness movement, you see. The mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, the mercy of the preachers preaching on the Mayapur Srila Prabhupada, that now we're given this opportunity to wake up, to get out of this sleep. You see, Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra Bole. We have this opportunity to wake up, you see. We're in this nightmare, dreaming I'm this, I'm that, I'm this and that. This nightmare is horrible, you see. This nightmare is horrible. Not horrible, but horrible, you see. It's a horrible nightmare, you see. So we go from horrible to Haribol. By the mercy of Guru, Krishna, and Vaishnavas. So we take advantage of their loving mercy, and this is really what all boils down to, my devotees. It all boils down in one to love. Ultimately, it all boils down to love. L-O-V-E, you see, love. That's what it all boils down to, you see. We had I remember we had a thing back in the early days of ISKCON. It was like, instead of loving a dog or a cat, love Krishna who made all of that, you see. So we have to take this loving propensity and we have to put it where it actually has success. We tried loving a boy or a girl or a country or a dog, or we tried loving all these things, but again, no satisfaction, you see. We have, this love is our concomitant factor, it's our very nature to love. I want to love and experience love back. We want that loving reciprocation, but we don't get it anywhere. That's the problem. We don't get it anywhere because we're as meant to be with Krishna. That's why nobody is satisfied in any loving relationship in this sphere world, because we're all meant to have that loving reciprocation with Krishna, and only Krishna is it. That's the only place our loving propensity being satisfied. But Krishna is the only one who can purely, and his pure devotees are the only ones who can purely reciprocate that love. Just like I experienced with Prabhupada, you see. That reminds me of another pastime of Prabhupada. So in those days, I remember I was a new devotee and I had the question, and Vishnu Jan Swami said, I don't know, why don't you write Prabhupada? Oh wow, that sounds pretty good. I'll write Prabhupada and get an answer back. And it was like that in the old days, remember? You could write Prabhupada a letter and he would write you a letter back. Just imagine if you could write a letter to Prabhupada right now and get a personal letter. How loving that would be. And there it comes in the mail to so-and-so Das Brahmachari or so. Now there's a letter, wow, to me from Prabhupada. It was so amazing. And Prabhupada was doing that. But he had to translate his books also. He had to sleep also. And it got very taxing as the movement grew. So finally there was a new policy. Okay, now only temple presidents, GBCs, and sannyasis. Nobody else can write letters. I was devastated. I had that connection. I was used to writing Prabhupada, getting answers back, and now I told, no more letters, that's it, finished. I was devastated. What to do? I said, I have to have that contact with Prabhupada. I can't give it up. So what did Sankarsan Das Brahmacharya? He wrote a letter to Prabhupada with no return address on the label, hoping to get through security. And you know what? Prabhupada answered my letter. He said, he told me about the policy, but you know what he said? He said, but if there's any urgent matter, I'm always happy to hear from my beloved disciples. Prabhupada gave me an exemption to the policy if I had an urgent need. Personally gave me an exemption to the worldwide policy. He personally gave me an exemption. Can you imagine how kind he was? And I wrote maybe one or two more letters, and I didn't feel the urgent need anymore, but I knew I had that connection with Prabhupada. Whenever I needed to write him, he was there waiting for me to reciprocate love with me. So that's kept me going for all these years, my dear Prabhus and Matajis, through all the ups and downs and struggles of, getting rid of the lust, the anger, the greed, the madness, illusion, envy, the craziness, the laziness, the puffed upness, all the dirt that's sitting in my heart. You see. That love of Prabhupada has kept me going decade after decade after decade after decade. And I'm convinced that that loving mercy in Prabhupada can flood this whole universe, indeed can flood the entire material existence with prema bhakti. That loving mercy of Srila Prabhupada, you see. And it's actually stated. There's an amazing verse that Prabhupada has given in his books, if I can remember the Sanskrit, Janmantara sahasreshu yashya sadbrada idashi dasaham vasadevasya sarvalonka samudare. Amazing, amazing verse. It's actually amazing, amazing, phenomenally wondrous verse. After many thousands and thousands of births, one realizes the eternal servant of Krishna, he can deliver everybody in this material world back to home, back to Godhead. Can you imagine the power of actually becoming Krishna conscious? This verse in Prabhupada's Purport, Narada Muni actually speaks this verse. By becoming actually Krishna conscious, you become empowered to deliver all living entities, the entire material world, back to home, back to Godhead. So just see the power of Krishna consciousness. I can understand that I'm not Krishna conscious. You see, that makes me very clear to me. Sankarsan Das is not Krishna conscious. I can see very clearly I'm not Krishna conscious. So I'm praying for that day, and I'm begging all of you to bless me that I can become Krishna conscious. Please, all you bless me that I can become Krishna conscious. I'm begging you all to bless me with that mercy. Because it's not easy to get rid of all these material desires, the laziness, all these things that have kept us entangled for millions and millions of lifetimes. So what more nectar can we derive from Prabhupada's purport here? As long as a living entity continues to be puffed up by his tiny existence, that's nice, his tiny existence. See, every word of Prabhupada's purport has deep, deep, deep meaning. We can take even one word and write volumes of books even on one word, you see. His tiny existence. Well, the trouble is we don't think it's tiny. We think, my existence is big, I'm a big, isn't it? Even the dog thinks he's big. That's why he barks, woof, 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 what are you doing in my street? It's my street, woof, 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 what are you doing here? We all think big, I'm big, you see. We forget we're teeny weeny, itsy beeny. It's teeny weeny, itsy beeny. Yeah, how's that go? Teeny weeny, itsy, yeah. We forget we're tiny. We forget that we're tiny, that's the problem. That's Lord Chaitanya has told us, you know. Chanada pisa nichena, tarara pisa hishnena, amanina madadena, kirtaniya sadahari. One should think himself lower in the straw in the street, being ready to offer all respect to others without expecting even the slightest sins of respect for himself. In that state he can go on chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in all times, all places and circumstances from now on for all of eternity. Can you imagine the taste that Haridas Thakur got from chanting? The amazing taste. He could chant 24 hours a day, and we think, oh, good, my rounds are done. Now I can take a nap, right? Or I can go do this or that. Oh, my rounds are finished. Great. Isn't it? That's not the mood of Haridas Thakur, you see. He was so fixed that even that prostitute couldn't divert his mind. It's amazing Leela. We all know that pastime. I love that Leela. Haridas, they were very envious. So this Muslim has now become a Hare Krishna. This is horrible. What a disgrace for the Muslim community. One of our own members has become a Hare Krishna. We must make him fall down. So they got a most beautiful young prostitute. Beautiful, beautiful girl, prostitute. And sent him to Haridas in the dead of night. He's chanting all alone. She comes in, she exposes her body to him partially. Says, oh, you must give me sex pleasure. I will die. I cannot live unless you give me intercourse. You see, begging for intercourse. And he said, yes, no problem. Let me finish my rounds and I'll give you, satisfy your sexual desire. Go and sit here peacefully. Let me finish my japa. Amazing. The night finished. She said, oh, I'm sorry, my dear girl. I wanted to satisfy your lusty desires, but I didn't finish my chanting yet. Just come back tonight and I'll satisfy your desires for sex. But again, the same thing. And finally, was it 3 days? Finally, she started making fun of him. She was going, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, making fun of him. Yeah, this Hare Krishna, Krishna. But she became a pure devotee by chanting, even in a mocking way. She became a pure devotee. Can you imagine the power of this holy name? You see? And go to this tiny, this puffed up nature, forgetting we're actually very tiny living beings. So one may ask, well, how you can be happy if you're tiny? I mean, in the material world, to become happy, you got to become big, right? Being tiny, that people step on you. How being tiny can you become happy being tiny? You got to become big, a big businessman, or get a big job, go to Harvard, get a big PhD degree, get a big job, and and a big house and a big swimming pool. Come on, you can't be happy being tiny. But the problem is we want to be big. That's the problem. We don't realize the great power of becoming tiny. Do you realize how becoming tiny, you can actually control the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Just like Jasoda Mati, wasn't she said, Krishna, take those slippers that Nanda Maharaj. A little tiny kid with very heavy slippers, a little smaller than you. And he was carrying the slippers on his head. It was a great struggle. He was struggling to carry the slippers of Nanda Maharaj. So the point is, by becoming teeny, tiny, you can actually control that Supreme Person. So the lover of God becomes greater than God, you see, by his love. You see. So let's stop cheating ourselves, devotees. Let's stop abusing ourselves and torturing ourselves. Let's get out of this insane consciousness of trying to become big, and actually learn how to become lower than the straw on the street. It's easy to say, isn't it? Not so easy to do, you see. Yeah, it's lower than the straw on the street. What does that mean? Well, let's say somebody chastises me. What do you mean chastise? Gotta get back, you know. No. If somebody chastises me, you should take it as a blessing. Krishna has blessed me by having this devotee chastise me to help me realize I'm a nonsense. I'm a fool, number one. And this devotee has told me, you're a nonsense, you did this, you shouldn't have done that. Some devotees chastising me and scolding me. Instead of getting angry to retaliate, I should say, oh, this is a great blessing. This is how Krishna is blessing me with this special mercy. Special, special mercy. And this reminds me, I just read a wonderful thing in the 4th canto, from actually an instruction from Narada Muni, how to be happy in this world. Would you like to be happy in this world? You want to be miserable? You want to be happy or miserable? Who wants to be happy? All right, we're on the right track then. All of you want to be happy, okay. Anybody want to be unhappy? Nobody? Okay. Here's Narada Muni's instruction on how to be happy in this world. He said, if you meet somebody who is higher than you, you should be very happy to have that association. And somebody who is less advanced than you should be very merciful to them. Somebody who's equally advanced, make friendship with them. You see. But Prabhupada points out in his purport, our tendency is to become envious of those who are more advanced, to deride those who are less advanced, and to be proud of those who are equally advanced. So instead of this envy, this pride, and this division, we have to come to this other position, being pleased, friendship, and merciful, you see. So that's the transformation we have to make. We have a tendency to do what Prabhupada said. We have to come back to describing our fallen position. Now we have to come back to what Narada Muni advised, you see, how to do them, you see. So we have a very good facility here in this Krishna consciousness movement. There's some devotees more advanced than me, some equally advanced than me, some less advanced than me. So we should have this wonderful, loving family spirit all throughout ISKCON, you see, where we follow Narada Muni's advice. If we ask, what is Prabhupada's, the spiritual family is one of the purposes of founding ISKCON, to create a spiritual family, you see. So this spiritual family will be based on these principles taught by Narada Muni. Pleasure with advanced, more advanced, friendship with equally advanced, and mercy on those who are less advanced. That's how we can make a spiritual family that will do what? It will gradually grow and grow and grow and expand out and include everybody on this planet. So many horrible things are happening on this planet. It's shocking what's going on. It's very shocking. Prabhupada said there's he said it's not forbidden to sometimes see the ordinary news. So it's very shocking what I saw recently in the news. Very, very shocking. This group called Hamas lives in the Gaza Strip. They made a terrorist attack on Israel. They came in and there was a music festival. They came in and shot 250 people dead. And they went into villages and they were actually butchering children even. Horrible atrocities, killing hundreds and thousands of people. And now Israel is retaliating. It's just a horrible thing. Thousands of people are being died on both sides. What's the basis? Bodily consciousness. I'm a Jew, I'm a Muslim. It's all based on bodily consciousness, you see. All of these wars, all this, it's all due to a false sense of ridership and bodily consciousness. So I'm seeing this Krishna consciousness movement is the only solution. The UN doesn't know how to solve it. Only the Krishna consciousness movement can solve all these problems breaking out on this planet right now. That's why we have to expand our spiritual family to engulf every man, woman, and child on this entire planet, and indeed the entire universe, and ultimately the entire material existence. We have to expand this movement more and more and more so it engulfs everything and everyone. But just taking this preaching spirit will make us happy, and as Prabhupada told me, surely Krishna will bless you. So we should embrace this preaching mood of delivering the world. Prabhupada told us become guru and deliver the whole world. So that's our assignment. Just like someone says, go offer the arti. You go cook an offering. And by the way, also deliver the world. Is that just for the sannyasis and GBCs, or is it only for the gurus? Is that order? Who is that guru for? And Prabhupada has become guru and deliver the world. That means every ISKCON member should take up this preaching and embrace the preaching mission as their very, very life and soul. I must be in this preaching mood in all times, all places, and circumstances. Even if the solicitor calls on the phone, Hare Krishna. You see. We can say Hare Krishna everywhere, you see. Just like they get off the airplanes, there's a stewardess there to say goodbye, and I say Hare Krishna. They never say Hare Krishna back. The other day, one did. She said Hare Krishna back to me. Now, that's great. On Vistara Airlines, she said Hare Krishna back to me. So we need to get this thing out there. Hare Krishna is instead of goodbye or bye-bye, get everybody to say Hare Krishna instead of bye-bye. You see. Actually, you know where bye-bye came from? Actually, goodbye originally was may God be with you. That's where it came from originally. But by gradual degradation of the materialization of the world's consciousness, it gradually changed to goodbye or bye-bye. You see. But originally, may God be with you. So originally it was much more God conscious. When I studied American literature as a kid in the university, and every single piece of American literature in the older days of America was devotional, every bit. There was no non-devotional literature at all in early American literature. So the whole thing, the whole world was originally much more Krishna conscious, but by influence of Kali it's going down, 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 down. But now by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we can take it up, 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 and up and up and up. Do you agree? You want to be part of this revolution? Do you all want to work together as a spiritual family to revolutionize the whole universe? Yes or no? Yes. Thank you very much. Devotees also applaud.